See him black. But the weirdest uh supernatural goings on in wrestling
Mhm.
isn't in AEW
Oh no.
or WWE. It is in, of all places, total nonstop action TNA Impact.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that because we just got 10 minutes left, so I wanted to make sure that we get this. So Jonathan Gresham. For anyone that has followed Jonathan Gresham's career, you know that he is a really, 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 really good wrestler. Like just fantastic. Like as a technical wrestler, it sucks that we haven't gotten Jonathan Gresham versus Brian Danielson on a big stage or Jonathan
Mhm.
Gresham versus Zack Sabre Jr. He's very, very good. And many years ago, he took on the nickname the Octopus. And
Mhm.
he would wear this sort of like mask that had octopus tentacles coming
Mhm.
down. And it was just like, because he wraps up his opponent in submissions and he must have 8 arms. He's so good at submissions.
Brian Danielson isn't really a dragon, but you get why he uses the name. That kind of thing.
well, well, similar to how Ricky the Dragon Steamboat would
Mm.
just use the name for years, but then he went back to WWE and they had him breathe fire and wear dragon scales.
Yeah.
Jonathan Gresham has taken his association with the octopus a step higher. So he's now wrestling in a mask. The mask doesn't have tentacles. And he is basically, I guess the gimmick is he has some type of octopus power that
No.
comes from this black ink like substance that he can spit up.
And
And
that's how
then
they call it too. It's a
the
black ink like substance.
black ink like substance. And he will shove the ink like substance into his opponent's mouth, kind of like a mandible claw. And that's his finish. And
I love that his finish
I,
is here, eat this goo.
so, and this is playing up like I've read some of the spoilers for future TNA episodes, and I know everybody watches every TNA episode, so I
Well,
won't
yeah. Yeah.
give away anything. But this plays a role in like the people who have ingested this ink are
Mm-hmm.
kind of impacted in a way not unlike the mist affects people in
I was
House
just to
of
say,
Black. Like it's not like they're evil, at least
they're
not
just
that
off.
they've been affected by the ink. It's not good for you. You shouldn't ingest a whole bunch of
Even though
octopus
it is
ink.
natural and non toxic, you should not ingest it.
And I just thought this is such a strange route for his character to go because he's been a straight wrestler
Mm-hmm.
and like one of the best straight wrestlers for such a long time. But I kind of like it. Like I obviously like I love stupid things in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm very much cool with it and I want to see where it goes. And in TNA, you can kind of get away with that stuff a little bit more because Matt Hardy's going to be doing his Broken Universe there
Mm-hmm.
again, which
Yeah.
I'm very much looking
Oh,
forward
yes.
to.
Very excited.
Because Matt Hardy is another guy like Bray Wyatt, but different. He's
Yeah.
really creative about wrestling. Obviously, the old Broken Universe stuff before was, if you like supernatural wrestling, you
Mm.
loved the Broken Universe. There are people that just won't get behind supernatural stuff in wrestling because
Mm-hmm.
it takes them out of it, and that's fine. I get that.
Well, I mean, it could be argued that Matt Hardy invented the cinematic match that was so popular for so long ago.
Yeah, he definitely took it to a new level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there had been stuff before, like the Austin Booker T grocery store
Oh yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But
but
that wasn't
that's
shot like a movie with
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
crazy things happen, like the
yeah,
Boneyard match.
yeah,
That
yeah.
the Boneyard match doesn't happen without Broken Matt.
That's right. That's right. But when he got to AEW, I remember he went there during the pandemic, and he did this thing when they were in the Empty Dailies place where it seemed like he was teleporting from one level to the other, and fans rejected that. Like AEW fans didn't want that supernatural stuff in the wrestling. So I don't think you're really gonna see. I mean, obviously the stuff with the House of Black and whatever, you get a little bit of it, but it's in TNA. I think that stuff is way more accepted than it is in AEW.
Yeah,
So
For sure.
Yeah.
AEW strikes me. Well, it doesn't strike me. It is more the like pure wrestling
Yeah, yeah. Well, it
fans
has
show.
more of that, like more Ring of
Mhm.
Honor influence, where it's like, you know, so
Classic Ring of Honor, you mean?
well, classic
Because
Ring of Honor,
nobody's
not their
influencing
Ring of
Ring of
Honor.
Honor today. Like it's very strange. Although the last couple episodes have been have had some funny moments, so I've been pleased about that. Um, but yeah, it's interesting. Um, sorry, going back to the Poison Ink and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy that two companies are telling such similar stories at the same time, but
Mhm.
obviously have no idea the other's doing it.
Yeah, I don't. Oh no,
Like
I
this
don't
is
think
wrestling serendipity, you
I
know?
don't think one is related to the other at all. But like, there's Great Muda is doing Poison Mist stories. Did you
Yeah.
know that
Oh,
currently wrestling in Japan, um, Great Muda's daughter, who in
mhm.
storyline is about a year and a half years old, but a fully
Oh yeah, yeah.
grown woman. Yeah, they put out this whole scene where uh, the Great Muda finds like a baby and then sprays the baby with a poison mist. And this somehow led to the baby growing into a full grown woman within a couple of months because she
Is
was
that going to
on
happen to
television.
Edge?
Edge is going to go the reverse. He's going to Benjamin Button it. And, we'll
Oh.
see him get progressively younger. And, but really, they've just like CGI'd his face.
Well,
And
yeah, yeah.
so, and then he'll show up on TNA and we'll get like 1999 Edge versus Matt Hardy in a cinematic match. It's perfect.
Sounds great. I'm fine. Sign me up, you know? And yeah, I was pretty fascinated. I wish they would kind of do cinematic matches still. I
Well, I think
understand
it's
that
one
that
thing that
was
like
a byproduct of the pandemic a little bit,
yeah,
but I would love to see one every now and again. I think it'd be great.
it was so good for TNA when Matt Hardy, remember like in 2015, and when he was really doing the broken stuff and his
Mhm,
popularity exploded. And then he ended up going back to WWE in
mhm.
2016. So made himself a ton of money off of it. But that whole cinematic stuff kind of reinvigorated TNA for a period there where it
Mhm.
was something that made them unique. It was like, oh, well, if you want to see this cinematic wrestling, you got to check out Matt
Yeah.
Hardy in TNA. And I think they brought in a lot
It
of
wasn't
new
just TNA
fans.
too. They were
Yeah.
bouncing around a bunch of different
Oh
indies,
yeah, yeah,
winning
yep.
championships and teleporting between worlds as it were, and stuff like that. And that I think brought attention to a lot of places that probably wouldn't have gotten it otherwise.
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't know, every time a big sort of legend star goes to an MLW or a Ring of Honor or something,
hmm
9 times out of 10 it's like, all right, well, I guess he's wrestling there because they could pay his fee, you know. And when the Hardys did that, it didn't feel like it. It felt like they were telling their own story that
yeah.
happened to evolve all these different promotions.
It was
And
really
I
revolutionary. I
really
love it.
think that
Yeah,
there's a lot of money in doing stuff like that.
yeah. And
Like AEW has
you'll
Forbidden
extend
Door.
careers too.
Yeah, AEW has
Yeah,
Forbidden Door, which is a cool meeting of the minds or whatever. But like, the storyline stuff that could be done is kind of you know endless when you think
yeah.
about it.
Well, look, TNA needs something to
What are
bring
you
people in,
talking
right?
about? Do you remember 6 months ago where they pulled a chest out of the water for some reason, and inside of it was someone's old belt they tried to get rid of? And it's kind of like the Steve Austin commercial for the video game a few years back, where he was like, they zoomed in on him like digging in a field, and then he pulls something out of the hole, and it's the smoking skull belt, and he like dusts it off, and he's like, "Ugh." And I'm like, Steve, why the fuck you bury that?
He
Like,
shouldn't have buried it.
why
What
is
is
that
that?
down there in the first place? That doesn't make any sense.
What weird branding rule led Impact Wrestling to have to bury its old
Yeah,
logo in a chest? And then, like, do they not have, hard copies or like
is that not
files
legally
saved on
like
a
is that legally
computer?
binding?
I think so. It's the
You
person who
know,
opens the chest, right?
like if I put something in a chest and just put it at the bottom of a lake, am I not responsible for it until I want to go back and get it?